We wait right here with you, Maggie, and with the faithful who've gathered in the square. Again, tens of thousands. There were 45,000 people who gathered here for the first evening. And as history would tell us, there is, with the exception of one time, never a pope on that first vote. And yet they came anyway. And so many of them told me they were drawn here. They knew they would see the black smoke, but that they wanted to witness a piece of history. Look at the blue sky, the backdrop of the Vatican here, of St. Peter's Basilica. We know that inside the Sistine Chapel, at the conclusion of the election, there's typically a round of applause from the fellow cardinals. And can you imagine the moment when one of the cardinals inside that room recognizes that he will become the next pope, that he is the top sort of vote getter or earner of the number that must be reached. And we know that's a 2/3 majority. So in this case, you had 133 cardinals in that room. That means you'd need to meet the 89 vote threshold. And going into this conclave, we knew that these were cardinals from all over the world. Pope Francis had selected about 80% of them. Of course, that was no guarantee that whoever this next pope is will follow the mold of Pope Francis. What it does guarantee, though, is a more representative vote because it did represent people of Catholic faith from all over the world. We saw the cardinal from Myanmar, for example, taking the oath, the Book of Gospels there. And you can see the tens of thousands right here at the Vatican, just outside the Basilica. People, the sun, it's a beautiful time of day, sort of the golden hour here in Rome as the sun sets low behind the Basilica there. People holding their hands up to their foreheads just to get a glimpse of what's playing out. We know that inside that Sistine Chapel, Terry Moran, that the top vote getter, the next pope, is asked, do you accept your election as supreme pontiff? An extraordinary question to be asked. The follow-up question is even more important and could be extremely telling for the world, and that is, with what name do you wish to be called?
That's right. That will be the first signal about what kind of man this is and what intentions he has for the church and for his papacy. If he picks Francis II, for example, that's an instance of continuity. He could pick lots of other names. There's 266 popes before him, and so there's a lot of names. He could pick his own name. Some popes have done that, and that will tell us something about it. But I got to tell you that electric charge that went through the square, goes through the city as well. I mean, we can see some of the streets down here below us, and people are pouring to the security points to get into the square, running, almost like with the enthusiasm of a championship sporting event or something. It really has lit up not just the square and the immediate surroundings, but the city as well. It's going to be quite a moment when whoever it is steps out on that balcony.
It's just so exciting, whether you're a member of the Catholic Church or a different faith, or perhaps someone who's just witnessing a piece of history unfold. It is unmistakable, the pageantry, the majesty. The Catholic Church does this very well. They build the anticipation, the excitement, and certainly those who have gathered here in the square know the weight of this moment, that the cardinals who were in that room not only had to take a measure of their peers and decide who was best fit to become pope, but also try to decide who could best meet the moment globally, looking around the world and seeing the conflict, the wars that are unfolding, to see the challenges when it comes to the global economy, climate change, the questions that the church will face going forward. So many of those questions Pope Francis did address. People have strong opinions either way about whether or not he addressed them fully enough and in the right direction. We'll find out shortly which direction the cardinals in that room hope the church will take. I want to show everyone at home, just over my shoulder here. This is obviously St. Peter's Basilica, and it is just extraordinary. I hope you feel that you're right here with us. And the balcony is just over my shoulder here. The red velvet drapes hanging over that balcony have been in place now for quite a few days as we now await for the new pope to be presented to the world. They'll say, Habemus Papam, we have a pope. We remember back when Pope Francis emerged on that balcony, he said, Buonasera, good evening to the crowd. It was a very sort of humble, modest way of introducing himself to the faithful, Father.
Yeah, it might be interesting for people to know what's going to be said. First, you're going to hear Annuncio Vobis Gaudium Magnum. I have news to you of great joy. And then Habemus Papam, as you were saying, David, the famous words, we have a pope. And then you're going to hear Eminentissimum ac Reverendissimum Dominum, the most eminent, the most reverend Lord. And then the person's first name, it's a little bit of a tip-off. And then Sancte Romani Ecclesiae Cardinalum, and then you hear the second name, his last name. And then Qui Sibi Nomen Imposuit, which means who has chosen the name, and then you'll hear his name as Pope. So a little bit of a preview of this formula that will be pronounced on the balcony soon.
And they're singing Te Deum if they're sticking to tradition within the Sistine Chapel, which essentially thanks God for helping them in making this decision.
Yeah, it's an ancient chant thanking God. And then also, as I think you said, they will be professing their obedience to him one by one.
They pay homage to the new Pope one by one in that room. There are 133 cardinals, more than we have seen ever before, so it could take a little longer, this period between the white smoke, the cheering here in Vatican City, and the actual moment when we learn. And you're going to learn at home, along with all of us right here at the Vatican, who the next Pope will be.